What is up, everybody? Jeremy Ice and Fire here, and welcome back to another Song of Ice and Fire video. And here we have it, folks. The writer's strike has officially begun. As of May 2nd, pencils have officially been put down across the country, and just about all of Hollywood will not be writing scripts going forward. And today, we are going to talk about exactly how this could potentially affect not only the spin-off shows going forward, but House of the Dragon, and how it could potentially be even good news for the long-awaited Winds of Winter. Ever since the strike was first announced, there have been many questions as to what exactly is going to happen to shows like House of the Dragon Season 2, the Dunk and Egg spin-off series that is in development, and all of the other Game of Thrones spin-offs that are currently in development, like the potential Jon Snow series and all of the rest of them. And I think the biggest question going forward was how exactly was this going to affect House of the Dragon Season 2 in particular, being as it is the most prominent show on HBO right now concerning the Song of Ice and Fire verse, and from what we know, Season 2 was already well underway into filming when the strike initially began. And we are getting confirmation from George R.R. Martin himself via his latest Not a Blog post that House of the Dragon Season 2 scripts are officially done, and the strike will not be affecting Season 2 of House of the Dragon. They will continue filming as planned. Luckily for House of the Dragon, all of the scripts were finished months in advance, so every episode that they are planning to film for Season 2, which is 8 episodes in total, have been not only written, but have been rewritten multiple times before the strike began, to account for HBO's notes and for George R.R. Martin's notes. So that at least is really good news going forward. Even the rewrites that they were potentially going to need have already been done, apparently. So that is good news. It looks like House of the Dragon Season 2 should go on as planned and will not be affected in the slightest about the writer's strike. Now, depending on how long the writer's strike actually lasts, that could potentially affect House of the Dragon Season 3, as we have recently heard that they were at least mapping out House of the Dragon Season 3, although it has not been greenlit yet. But I imagine pencils have been put down on that project as well. Which leads us to the Dunk and Egg spin-off series. George R.R. Martin does unfortunately confirm that the Dunk and Egg spin-off series has been put on hold for the time being, at least while the writer's strike lasts. Ira Parker, the writer for the Dunk and Egg series, and his team of writers have all officially joined the picket line, according to George R.R. Martin. So they are out protesting, and they will not be doing any writing anytime soon, at least until this strike gets completed. Now, that doesn't mean that the Dunk and Egg series has been canceled entirely. I imagine once the writer's strike is completed and everyone gets back to work, the Dunk and Egg series will most likely resume production. But as of right now, all pencils have been put down. And if they have halted production on the Dunk and Egg spin-off series, I have to imagine the other potential Game of Thrones spin-off series that were in pre-production have probably been halted as well, like the potential Jon Snow spin-off series, the Sea Snake series, and the Nymeria series that reportedly were all still in development according to George. Still no word on the Aegon's Conquest series, but I imagine if that was in pre-production, that one probably would have been halted as well. But seeing as George hasn't mentioned anything about Aegon's Conquest on any of his previous Not a Blog sites, especially when he previously went out of his way to mention not only the Sea Snake series, but the Nymeria series, both still being in active development. So until we hear any official word from either George or HBO themselves, I'm inclined to think that the Aegon's Conquest movie and TV series will most likely not be happening, at least not anytime soon. I have to imagine they will adapt that at one point, just like they probably will adapt Robert's Rebellion at one point, but I have a feeling those two probably won't come until a little bit later. Which brings us to the potential good news coming out of the writer's strike business, and that is the Winds of Winter. Now, reportedly, George had still around 400 to 500 pages to complete on the Winds of Winter before it was done. He had around 1,200 pages complete at his last update a few months back. But now it seems like all of the TV shows that George was previously working on have officially been halted. And George himself is firmly standing with his Writers Guild, and he will not be writing on any of these TV shows. But what exactly does that mean for the writing on Winds of Winter? Well, George does go on to address that in his Not a Blog, and just as I suspected, since George's A Song of Ice and Fire is not officially a part of the Writers Guild, it is not something that George has to halt production on, which is really good news. Over the next few months, it seems like George is going to have a lot of time on his hands to finish Winds of Winter, which hopefully could get it in our hands that much sooner. And George does go on to state that Winds of Winter is currently his priority. He does want to get Winds of Winter finished before he moves on to anything else. And I really hope that is the case. I know it has been a very long time coming, and I know a lot of fans have gotten very frustrated, and I totally understand. I am still holding on to hope that Winds will probably be coming out over the next year or two, the latest. But if George has a lot of extra time on his hands over the next few months, depending on how long this writer's strike lasts, maybe we could get Winds of Winter a little bit sooner, who knows. But of course, that all depends on exactly how long this writer's strike is going to last. There have been a ton of writer strikes in Hollywood over the past years. There was one in 1988, which was the first one that George R. R. Martin himself took part in, which lasted around 22 weeks. And the most recent writer strike took place between 2007 and 2008 and lasted around 100 days. So hopefully this current one tends to follow suit and gets wrapped up within a few months. I imagine it probably won't be a year-long wait or multiple years-long wait. Both sides seem to be pretty stubborn right now, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of communication between the two, but eventually I imagine they will come together and hammer out some type of deal that is beneficial for both parties. And I totally understand the Writers Guild. They feel like they need to take a stand here and now, which is understandable, but at the end of the day, I feel like the ones who truly lose out in situations like this are the fans. Especially during times like this where real good escapism is becoming harder and harder to come by. And I would certainly hate to see anything happen to some of these awesome shows that have all of the potential in the world that are on right now, like House of the Dragon, like From on MGM, like the Dune movie series, and all of the other awesome stuff that is in development. So hopefully this thing can get sorted pretty quick and people can get back to writing good stories as usual. But that is going to do it for us today. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think of all the recent news concerning the writer's strike and how it could potentially affect not only the series that are in production, but how it could potentially affect Winds of Winter going forward as well. I would love to know what you guys think. And don't forget to hit that like on your way out, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications to stay up to date on all of our upcoming content, as we will be covering all things A Song of Ice and Fire. And as always, I want to thank everybody out there for watching, and we will see you on the next one.